Good morning. Welcome to Business 360, where business, markets, and the economy come into full view. I'm Margaux Salcedo, and this is the Bilyonaryo News Channel. The Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas says there is little chance of aggressive interest rate hikes despite inflation risks from the Middle East conflict and higher wages. Airfares set to rise again after the Civil Aeronautics Board raised jet fuel surcharge for the first half of August. And President Marcos lifts the ban on new IT economic zones in Metro Manila, paving the way for new IT parks and investments. The Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas sees a low chance of more aggressive interest rate hikes. BSP Governor Eli Ramolona says there is only a small chance the central bank will tighten policy more aggressively, despite rising inflation risks from the Middle East conflict and a weaker peso. Still, the BSP is not ruling out another rate hike at its next policy meeting in August. The central bank raised its key policy rate by 25 basis points in June, bringing total rate hikes since April to 50 basis points. The Philippine peso is rebounding as hopes grow for a diplomatic breakthrough in the Middle East. On Tuesday, the peso closed stronger at 61.61 against the dollar, marking its second straight day of gains after hitting a record low last Friday. The recovery comes as hopes rise for a diplomatic resolution between the United States and Iran, helping push global oil prices lower and lift market sentiment. Energy firms call for caution in removing system loss charges. Energy stakeholders say that system loss charges are simply inherent in electrical distribution, and the government should first determine how the costs would be recovered before removing it. The Philippine Rural Electric Cooperatives Association says system loss is a result of providing the service rather than inefficiency. It added it can only support the removal of charges if the government would directly shoulder the cost. The Civil Aeronautics Board is raising jet fuel surcharge from August 1 to 15. CAB announced a level 13 surcharge starting next month, up from level 8 in July. This means airlines may collect surcharges of up to 1,200 pesos for domestic flights and up to 10,000 pesos for international flights. The increase comes as global jet fuel prices surge following the collapse of the preliminary peace agreement between the United States and Iran. The Department of Information and Communications Technology is seeking a 2027 budget of 2.7 billion pesos for their digitalization program. DICT Undersecretary David Almiral Jr. says that amount is needed to cover cloud services, cybersecurity tools, programmer salaries, and system sustainability, with 800 million pesos going to the eGov.ph super app alone. Almiral adds that the DICT is being extremely thrifty, noting that past digitalization projects often ran into billions of pesos. President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. has exempted new IT parks and centers in Metro Manila from the Eco Zone moratorium. Under a new administrative order, the Philippine Economic Zone Authority will accept, process, and evaluate applications for new IT parks and centers in the National Capital Region. The exemption applies only to IT parks and centers, as the moratorium remains in place for all other types of eco zones in Metro Manila. The order amends the previous administration's order that barred new eco zone accreditations in Metro Manila to encourage more investments in the provinces. And we're taking a quick break. When we return, we'll speak with Trade Secretary Cristina Roque about the latest developments in trade, exports, and the Philippine economy. Stay tuned. Business 360 will be right back. Welcome back to Business 360. I'm Margaux Salcedo. The Philippines is expanding its global trade footprint with new free trade agreements and continuing efforts to strengthen key industries. But at the same time, the country is navigating new U.S. tariffs and an evolving global trade environment. To talk about the DTI's priorities and what these developments mean for business and the economy, we are joined now by Trade Secretary Cristina Roque. Welcome to Business 360, Secretary Roque. It's such an honor to have you here po.
Yes, hi Margaux. Thank you for having me and good morning to everyone.
I know that your life now is so hectic, flying to different countries, fixing these free trade agreements. So thank you so much for this time. But we are so happy to have you because at the State of the Nation address last Monday, the big highlight of President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. was the free trade agreements, the 23 free trade agreements that you have brought to the country. It's a big DTI achievement. Could you tell us about those 23 free trade agreements in general and your strategy for it?
Yes, Margaux, President Marcos or the Marcos administration will go down in history as the most free trade agreement, 23. Napaka-importante ang mga free trade agreements nito so that we can really sell our products to the global market with the preferential tariff. What does this mean? Kasi ang nangyayari sometimes, we have products then that are really for export, pero when we get to sell it, masyado tayong mataas ang presyo natin because our tariffs are very high. So now with the free trade agreements, talagang we will be very competitive and bababa na talaga yung presyo natin. So napaka-importante itong free trade agreements, and the 23 free trade agreements are in the countries where it matters most. So napaka-importante. So for this year, we will be concluding the Philippine-EU FTA, which will open the European market. Then we just concluded the Philippine-Chile FTA, which was last Friday. So that's a big win for the South America market, which there's actually 300 million people in the South America market. So malaking market yon. And then we hope to conclude also the Philippine-Canada Free Trade Agreement. And then we also have the JEPEPA, which we hope to conclude, or which we will conclude this November, which will really help the banana industry. And then we also have the ATIGA, which is a free trade agreement with India. So malaking opportunity ito for us. So we just keep on...
Big wins.
Yes, these are really big wins.
Isa-isahin po natin, Sec.
Yes, for export sectors. Yeah,
So,
malaking bagay ito.
First, as you mentioned, Chile. It's
Yes,
the first
Chile.
free trade agreement of the Philippines in Latin America.
Yes, yeah. So
How
that's
did you
a big
manage that
market.
po?
Yes, actually, both ways, we really talk to them and really, if there are deadlocks, as I mentioned to you earlier, whatever we agree, then we push for that. If there are deadlocks, then we just amend. But as of now, everything is good. It's going to be a win for us, especially in a lot of sectors. So malaking opportunity ito.
And then another big win is the UAE.
Yes,
You
UAE
signed this. So in Chile po, you just signed last week.
Actually, we just concluded. So the signing will be before November.
Wonderful.
Yes, yeah, we're hoping to sign that either in Chile or they'll come here. But definitely, we will be signing that around October, September, October.
Huge win for the Philippines,
Yes,
for our
yeah.
exporters. And then another big win, which I believe you signed last January, was the one naman po with UAE.
Yes, with
How did that
UAE,
come about?
yeah, malaking rin yun, malaking opportunity for a lot of products, especially in that that part of the world, the Middle East market, very strong. So we're very happy for that, because Margaux, exports in 2025 hit an all-time high of 15.4%, and then January again we are at a high, February high again, March high at 20.4%, April up again, May up again. So just by these numbers, we can see that the Philippine products are really ready for the global market. So you can imagine kung talagang meron tayong preferential tariff in very strong countries where our products are really accepted na rin. So,
you mentioned product, Secretary. Are there specific products that we are keen on marketing, bringing to, for example, the Middle East? Are there specific products that they're looking at, or in Chile?
Actually, let's look at it as a whole. We're very strong in the semiconductor industry, we have minerals, we also have automotive parts, and those are the technology part. But the biggest win where we are seeing now is in the agriculture sector. Like in the coconut, no, we've seen a double-digit increase in export of 34.4%. Malaki ito. And then after that, meron din the usual bananas, pineapples, but we are seeing rising star in ube and also in calamansi. So with all these free trade agreements, talagang we are really expecting our exports to grow leaps and bounds.
It's amazing that you mentioned the diversification of the products as
Yes.
well, because first is for the 23 free trade agreements, I've noticed that you are trying to diversify our trade partners.
Yes.
Is that really a strategy of the DTI?
Yes, that's a strategy of the Marcos administration and the DTI, no? Because we need to make sure that the world is our market. We cannot just be concentrated on a few markets, because if that market falters, then paano na? So it's really best to really open the market to the world.
Well, it's a good time to diversify, especially because
Yes,
just
yeah.
recently the United States has been unpredictable with respect to the tariffs that they have been imposing.
Yes, correct.
Earlier, they had imposed 19%, and then recently po, we must discuss the 12.5%.
Yes.
But the headline is that you have been working on having exemptions to this. But ma'am, first of all, we'd like to ask, because the 19% had been given the thumbs down by the Supreme Court in the United States because it was a unilateral decision daw po. But the 12.5% was because of unfair labor practices or forced labor. But may ganun po ba tayo?
Actually, wala tayong ganon. But again, we issued the JAO, a Joint Administrative Order with DTI, DOF, and DOLE last week. So just to assure them that we don't engage in these kinds of practices and we don't do these things. So we are hoping that this will actually change the values, no, or the numbers to a much lower. We're really hoping to bring it back to 10%, because after the 19%, 10%, and then now 12.5%. But we're hoping to bring it, even if we can bring it lower than 10%, then that would be really very beneficial for us. So our negotiators are in the US now. Ongoing ang negotiations ngayon.
Of course, the United States is our top trading partner, but you have also diversified, and as you had mentioned earlier, we have been trading more as well with Japan. Now you're chair of the ASEAN Economic Ministers and the ASEAN
Yes,
Economic
yes, yeah.
Community. How is our trade within the ASEAN region? Do you have wins that you would like to mention from
Yes.
ASEAN as well?
Yes, thank you, Margaux, for this opportunity. Now, first, I want to say that we already concluded the DEFA, the Digital Economic Framework Agreement. This is a major win for us in our chairship, because we really wanted to get this done. This will open the entire ASEAN in the digital platform. There's actually so many areas, no, where this is will be very important, like even cybersecurity, digital trade, the movement of goods. There's actually a lot that will be in this. But let's say for trade, the e-commerce will now open the market to the entire ASEAN. So the potential in the onset is $3 trillion. So malaking opportunity to for our Philippine products to be sold with a preferential tariff all over ASEAN. So this is a big win for us, and this is the first in the world. So we are very proud that we will be signing this in our ASEAN chairship. And in the final, in November, masasign ito noon. But at least it's already been concluded. So malaking bagay ito. And for us, ASEAN chairship, there's really a lot for us to show. No? We have quite a number of deliverables, and now we are on track with everything. And then we have another ASEAN Economic Ministers meeting this September. So again, a lot of things to talk about. Remember, ASEAN is a very strong force when we bond together. We are a huge market. The potential of ASEAN as a bloc is very big. We buy a lot of goods also, and we also have a lot to share in terms of let's say industries, in terms of digital, in terms of AI. There's so much that ASEAN can contribute to the world. So ASEAN as a bloc, we're a force to reckon with.
Well,
also.
even U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio, when he was here, was saying that for the Philippines, the ASEAN chairmanship has been phenomenal. And of
Yes,
course,
yeah.
for the economic community, it's also many major wins.
Yes.
Just going back to the free trade agreements that you had mentioned, let's just mention quickly the Japan. I think
Yes,
we also have a few initiatives in pushing forward improved free trade with Japan.
Yes, yeah, with Japan, we're hoping to conclude the JPEPA this November. And this will really open the, at least for bananas, no, the export of bananas, malaking opportunity ito for us. Because for now, the tariffs of banana is 8 to 18%, depending on the season. So imagine once we get JPEPA done, this will go down to 0. So again, this will really put our bananas in a very good position for us to really compete with our ASEAN neighbors and also globally.
Following the State of the Nation address last Monday, one of the things that people were looking to hear was how to put food on the table.
Yes,
And the President had also mentioned in his speech how he addressed the Iran war, but we also saw that there were concrete wins from the DTI in terms of supporting entrepreneurs.
Yes, yeah.
Could we talk about the many initiatives po of the DTI that
yes,
many
yeah.
people might not be aware of, especially our restaurant owners or women or
yes, yeah.
these different initiatives po for entrepreneurs?
Actually, we have so many initiatives for the entrepreneurs. No, they just have to go to DTI, or they just have. We have different regional offices all over the country. Actually, 18. And we have 1,400 negosyo centers now nationwide. So they can go there and really check what are the opportunities and possibilities. But we also can give market access for them, both locally and globally. As I mentioned, if you have a product, you can just inform us. All our trade shows are free. We have so many trade shows nationwide. And we also have trade shows globally, which are free again. So these are actually the avenues where you can showcase your products. Because for products to be sold, we need to showcase them. So please take advantage of this market or these trade shows that we are giving them. For those that want to sell their products international, we have 21 trade offices all over the world with 29 trade attaches. They hold the opportunities and they also hold the possibilities. So if you have a product and you want to sell it, let's say in Japan, then you go to the DTI office in Japan. We have a trade attaché there who make sure that we get things done for them.
Wow, and I
Yes.
also saw, Secretary, that you also have loans that people
Yes,
can
we have
avail of
loans,
for,
yeah,
for example, for women?
Yes, we have flexible loans actually for everyone. No? There is a financial institution or under DTI called the SB Corp, and we have 12.5 billion pesos to loan out to so many. No, we have already so many different funds for them. Like we have the Women Enterprise Fund, where we encourage women to get into business or a double income in a family. Because di ba now, the Asian style, the man goes to work and the woman stays at home and takes care of the kids. So we encourage them. So if they have a talent or they have anything that they want to do to get into business, we have fund for them. Again, all of these funds, the 12.9 billion funds, no, are up to 5 million, no collateral, and then 1 year, no payment of principal and interest. So very flexible
Ayan,
terms
so
for them.
mga kababaihan, umutang na po tayo sa DTI.
Yes, yeah.
Another, ma'am, that a sec that the President mentioned at his State of the Nation address was the halal industry.
Yes,
I know
yeah.
you have also been working on promoting the halal industry.
Yes, actually, we are very aggressive on halal, no, both locally and globally. So we have already engaged with, kasi with a lot of certifying bodies. Kasi ang challenge natin or ang deadlock natin is the certification. Kasi ang dami na nating produkto. Ang problema, hindi lang sila na-certify ng halal. So now, we have already so many certifying bodies. So it's up to the entrepreneurs to choose which one. And then we can sell it globally or locally. Remember, we have a huge Muslim market now in the Philippines. Actually, 13 million. We have more now than in UAE. So malaki rin ang potential ng local market for the halal products.
Yesterday we had Tony Lopez, and the day before that we have Bed Jokdo, and both of them said that we need to capitalize on our youth.
Yes,
And
yeah.
I see that you also have for the DTI a youth enterprise fund. Could you
Yes,
tell us
yeah.
about that? How do we
Yes.
encourage our youth to be entrepreneurs as well?
Yes, actually last Friday we also we set aside 1 billion pesos for youth enterprise. That's a youth enterprise fund. So that's from age 18 to 30. So if they want to get into business or they have a business or they want to know more about this, it's best for them to take advantage of this loan. Kasi napapansin na natin, our youth, they're very much distracted already by the social media. So it's best to use the social media to their advantage. Gamitin nila pag negosyo. So there's so many people that really made money now out of social media. The e-commerce platform is very strong. It's a cheap avenue and it's a very strong avenue for them to get started. So I encourage the youth to avail of this fund and to really get their talents going and to really start young. Kasi ang daming malalaking negosyante na nag-umpisa din, bata pa sila, and then maliit din sila.
Sec, you have been doing so much. I see that
thank you.
for 17 months straight, our exports has been growing.
Yes, yeah.
And maybe just as our last question for you, what will be the legacy of the Marcos administration in terms of trade?
Okay, in terms of exports, this one we're really going to push. There's so much potential out there. So with this free trade agreement, I see no reason why we cannot really push this or really actually double it. We're coming up with the numbers now with our target for our exports for this year, 2026. So we will inform everyone of this once we get it, but we're really pushing for this. For investments, tuloy-tuloy pa rin. Actually, for this year, January to June, for PEZA, we are up 94.4%. And for BOI, we are up by 20%. So again, those are good numbers for investment. So under DTI, tuloy-tuloy lang po ang trabaho namin and tuloy-tuloy lang ang pagsunod sa mandate ng Presidente to make sure that we get investments in because these investments bring income to our country and it provides jobs, which is very important for our President. And also for the MSMEs, we have a lot of possibilities and opportunities for you, but you must take advantage of this. A lot of them are free, a lot of them are really flexible just to make sure na makausad kayo. Yes.
Thank you so much,
Thank
Sec. We
you.
will
Thank
help you in getting
Margaux.
the word out for all
Yes,
of these
thank you. Yes,
opportunities. Yeah. Good job, ma'am.
Thank
Bravo
you.
po. Congratulations.
Thank you, Margaux. Thank you for having me.
And that's Business 360. I'm Margaux Salcedo. Thank you for joining us. Keep it here on BNC, the Bilyonaryo News Channel.